All right, so I've had a couple of questions over the last couple of weeks about torque boxes, Fox bodies, SN95 and New Edge Mustangs specifically. And they make all these options for G bodies also, and I do recommend putting some kind of adjustable torque box in whatever car it is that you have if you're running a factory style suspension, because it does open up a wide variety of what you can do with the suspension depending on what kind of tire you're running on and what kind of surface you're going to run on. Everybody knows my take. I really love radials. I love a decently prepped track, and I really love separation to drive the tire into the track with a shock and spring combination that kind of can control that. But anyway, I have two actual different manufacturers of torque boxes here tonight, and it's probably our most popular two. One of them is the cheapest of the two, but it's also heavier and it doesn't look as nice. And the other one is kind of the top of the line model. If you had a Benz or a Bentley and you were wanting to race that, this is a piece that would go in it. So if you have a really nice race car and you're trying to save weight somewhere, I recommend the other one. But we're going to get started with the Wild Rides piece. This comes from Wild Rides race cars, and it's actually a pretty decent piece. In my personal opinion, it gives a lot of adjustability in the right places. It's pretty easy to install. You just go in and knock out the spot welds on the factory torque boxes, and then take a chisel or air hammer or whatever and get behind them and kind of prime off the body. And then this piece is actually going to bolt into where the front floor pan and the trunk pan come together. So you take and just lay this top piece out right here on the top and drill your 5 holes in it, put this up, bolt it to it, and then push it up against the floor pan is what I like to do, where the original torque boxes used to be. And then you drill a couple of holes in it right here up through the floor pan where the original torque boxes used to go, and you bolt it in. And once it's all bolted in, you do some measuring, make sure you don't need to move it around or anything anywhere, which you generally don't. They go in there just pretty good if you follow the directions. Then you'll go back and weld this thing all the way down the sides to the frame rails. And sometimes if I'm dealing with a really high horsepower car, I'll even take and plate this to the drive shaft tunnel and weld that in also. But this is a pretty nice piece. It's just a little heavy, and it's not the greatest to look at. It's not terrible. I mean, it does look pretty nice. It's just not the greatest. And it's got about 6 pounds on the one that we install the most of, and the one I recommend the most. And that would be Marty Marelet's piece. If you know anything about drag racing, and you've been around for the last couple of years, then you know Marty, you've seen him on Facebook, you've seen some of his work on Facebook, and my God, it's beautiful. And these are the upper torque boxes that he makes. They're quite a bit lighter than some counterparts, and they're beautiful. The craftsmanship is just amazing. Now, they are a little bit more expensive, but in my personal opinion, just as easy, if not easier, to install. He cuts these little notches in them right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. He cuts those little notches in them right there. And that's where the edge of the factory torque boxes ties into the frame rail. And there's actually a notch in the frame rail. So when you get this thing pushed up against the floorboard, you line that notch up and weld this sucker in. And it's pretty great. It gives a stellar amount of adjustability. It's double layered right here, so you don't have to worry about breaking it. And it's super light, very good to look at, goes in very easily. Overall, just a stellar piece. This is what we generally recommend. He also makes lower torque boxes, as Wild Rides does. They make lower torque boxes too. So I would pick up either one of those if you're going for cheap. The Wild Rides will be fine. If you want a light, super nice race car, give Marty a call or give me a call, and we can set you up with some upper and lower torque boxes. But in my personal opinion, if you have a stock ride height car, the lower control arm is going to be at a pretty decent angle. It's not going to be all crazy, and you can go really, really fast with a stock ride height Mustang, as long as you have everything else kind of under control. The first thing that I would do with a stock ride height car is I would replace the upper torque box and get my upper control arm angle down. It's a little flat at stock ride height. And then if I have a lowered car, the first thing that I would do is I'd put lowered torque boxes and lower control arm brackets on the rear end, so that way they're adjustable. And I'd probably leave the upper bar kind of where it's at. They should work pretty good right there. But anyway, that's kind of my rundown in the two products that I generally recommend as Wild Rides. They've been kind of the staple for the past 15 years as far as adjustable torque boxes go. But then there's some people that came along in the last couple of years and showed us what real craftsmanship and quality looks like, and man. So if you need something stellar and light for a super nice race car, call Marty. But anyway, I'm Rob, and that's the breakdown on torque boxes. Oh, and by the way, AAA, or is it AA, or is it AA, or is it quadruple A? But anyway, there's another company out there for G-bodies. If you're watching and you have a G-body, I think it's called Double AA Performance, makes what they call a MAT, which is basically this for a G-body, and they make lower torque boxes too. So if you have a G-body, you're not out on that, give them a call, and they can fix you up. He's helped me out a couple of times with some G-bodies that we've had in here. But anyway, this is Rob. Have a good evening. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. I'm probably going to do some videos on kind of where to place the bars according to ride height, because there's so many different variables that play into it. I can't just tell you set your bars here and here. If you have a different spring rate, it's going to act different. If you have a different valve shock, it's going to act different. If you have a different ride height, it's going to act different. If you have a different center of gravity, it's going to act different. So I can't just tell you, hey, put your bars here. But I can kind of give you a basic rundown of, I got a stock ride height car. It makes about 1,000 horsepower. And then, you know, where should I go from there? Let's put an upper torque box in it, and let's move the upper control arm down one hole. I'm going to kind of make a video like that, and we will start there. But anyway, have a good evening. I hope this helped somebody out. If you do not know where to get these, you can gladly give me a call. I can hook you up with both of them. Or you can call the manufacturer specifically and get either one of these. The pricing through both of us is going to be kind of equal. I may can cut you a little bit of a deal, but they're really, I mean, they're pretty cheap for what they are, and especially what they do for the car. I mean, I think you could pick up this Wild Ride unit for like $389. And then this unit, I think Marty sells for like $499. But dang, the amount of adjustability it gives you and the consistency it's going to give the car is worth way more money. In my personal opinion, it's priceless. If they said they're $1,500 a piece, give me 3 of them, you know. But anyway, get that fixed. Get one in your car. If you don't have an adjustable upper torque box in your car, get it in right now, and start making some adjustments to make your car more consistent. The thing that irks me the most is when I go to the track and I see a car that has potential to go super, super fast, you know, 1/0 to the 60 foot, sub 1 seconds to the 60 foot, and they're out there just kind of making a fool of themselves to the first half of the track, you know, and you really want to walk over and help them, but people are going to think you're a pompous asshole. But you really just want to say, man, throw an upper torque box in that thing and let me adjust it for you. But once again, worth their weight in gold. If you don't have one in there, get one in there tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to go home. It's like 10 o'clock or something. But anyway, we'll talk to you later.